Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be recreating a 1940s swimsuit from this picture. This is actually what's known as a mutoscope card, and it's kind of hard to explain what it is, so I recommend looking it up, but they're basically a postcard-sized card that usually would feature a photograph or an illustration of a pinup girl. I got this one from my local antique store, and it really stood out to me because I loved what she was wearing. And since I don't have any historically accurate vintage swimsuits, I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to make myself one and recreate the one that she's wearing in this photo. So let's just get right into the process of recreating this 1940s swimsuit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw the swimsuit, because in this image you can't see all of the details. Of course you can't see the back of the swimsuit, so some of it I'll just have to be a little bit creative, and some of it I can figure out from the image. So starting with the front view, this is definitely a halter neck swimsuit, and it has a rounded neckline. It is gathered at the neckline, and then you can't really see in the picture, but I'm just going to do a gather on the bottom also. If I look really closely at the top, I can see that there's actually a dart going right through the middle, and that definitely seems to be helping it get a little bit more shape and almost a little bit closer to a sweetheart neckline. Then as far as the bottoms, they are clearly very, very high-waisted. Then they seem to stop pretty much perfectly straight. You can see at the leg that there's some sort of ruffle happening. I think that that's going all the way around somewhere in the middle. So I finished the front and cleaned it up a little bit, and I do really quite like how that looks. It'll of course be in a polka-dotted fabric like the picture. Now for the back, I need to be a little bit more creative because obviously I can't see the back in the picture. I can see in the picture that it looks sort of like a rather thin strap is going across the back, and then of course it's a halter, so I'll probably just have that tie in the back. For the bottoms, the back will pretty much look the same as the front does. Alright, there we have the front and back of the bathing suit, so now I just have to draft the pattern, which is always one of the trickiest parts of making any garment. Even if you are following the pattern, there's often adjustments you have to do, and just cutting it out takes a long time, so I'm gonna get into drafting. Alrighty, it is now time to draft a pattern. Here is the lovely fabric I have gotten from Etsy, and it is polka dotted just like the picture, and obviously because this picture is like monochrome, you can't actually tell what color it is here, so I just decided to go with this because it's really pretty. But the size of the polka dot seems just about right, and it is 100% cotton, which I believe was quite common for 1940s swimsuits. And I also got this beautiful white fabric that feels like cotton to me. I got it from the thrift store for a couple dollars, and I think it'll be perfect to use as lining. I apologize for the fact that I'm not really explaining here how I drafted the pattern, but that's basically because I don't even really know how I draft patterns. I couldn't really explain it. I kind of just come up with it as I go and measure myself as I go to get the measurements for different spots on the pattern. So if you want to make this bathing suit yourself, I recommend either getting a pattern and altering it a little or adding things to it. You could also try and copy pattern pieces of a piece of clothing or bathing suit that you already have. But if you are interested in drafting your own patterns, really the only way to get good at it is to just go right ahead and do it and learn from your mistakes. So if you are interested in making your own patterns, I recommend looking at some other patterns to figure out sort of generally how clothes are made, and then really just throw yourself right into it. So I have the pieces for the top of the swimsuit cut out, and here is what I have. There is a dart in the middle that will be sewed together. Then it will be gathered at the neckline, and I have a piece of lining. So what I'm going to do is sew along the dart, and then I'm going to gather the top and the bottom and also do the lining, and then I'll put the lining on to this. Alright, so I have sewn the lining in the main piece together. Here's the main structure. It's a little bit weird because it's definitely not done. Next, I need to hem sort of like the ties and stuff. And then I think I'm going to do a top stitch around the edge of this just to make it lie a little bit flatter. The lining has made it like slightly wonky, so I hope a top stitch can fix that a little bit. So I'll see how much of this I can finish tonight, and then maybe tomorrow we can start working on the bottoms. Hello, it is a brand new day, and I have finished the bathing suit top. I did everything that I needed to do last night. I finished all of the hemming, the creation of the straps, and the top stitching. So today I'm going to be creating the bottoms of the swimsuit. Now you may be wondering why I created the entire swimsuit top before even cutting out the pieces for the swimsuit bottoms. That is a good question because I don't really know. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, so I'm going to make the swimsuit bottoms today, and I'm gonna start planning and cutting out the pieces. For the pattern for the swimsuit bottoms, I basically just followed the structure that is commonly used for making a pair of shorts. I just made them a little bit more fitted to my body. Then of course there's other little pieces like the ruffle that goes around the swimsuit bottoms, but that's basically just a long gathered strip of fabric. Alrighty, so here are the pieces. There's two that are like this, and then I will cut out the waistband when I need it because I'm not exactly sure how high-waisted this is going to be. I might need to trim it a tad, but I'd rather it be a little bit too high-waisted than not high-waisted enough because I can always make it shorter. So basically the way this is going to work is I'm going to fold them in half and sew them along here, and then you have each of the legs, and then you sew both of them together. So like this is the center seam that will go in the middle, and this part like goes between your legs. If that makes any sense. It's kind of difficult to explain, but I'm going to start sewing these together, and then I will just put a little lining piece in the crotch later and add the waistband, and then I will add the ruffle, and then I think we'll be done. So yeah, I'm gonna get sewing. Alright, so I have sort of got the main structure of the bottoms down. I tried them on with the bathing suit top, and I really like it, but I'm not going to show you that until the reveal. But I'm really liking the fit of these. I did cut a little bit off of the top to sort of even out the waistline, but now I will be sort of figuring out the closure in the back, sort of cleaning that and probably doing some buttons and adding the waistband, hemming the legs, and then doing some felling on the inside. So I am going to get on that.
Oh, say, let us fly, dear.
Where?
'Tis much later in the day, so excuse the sorry lighting. I am coming very close to finishing the bottoms for the bathing suit. I did all of the felling for the inside, and obviously I added the ruffle, as you can see. Something I noticed while I was looking at this picture is if you look very closely, you can see that the hem of the bottoms is actually scalloped a little bit, but that would probably have been done with a machine, and I do not have the machine with which to do that. And it is subtle enough that I am just going to leave it like this. It looks still pretty much like the picture. It's not something super noticeable. I do also think that the ruffle might be a little bit too close to the waistline, but live and learn. This is what these projects are for. You always learn something. So this bathing suit isn't exactly like the image, but I think that it is very close, and I'm still very proud of how it's coming out, and I'll definitely wear it. I think it looks adorable, and I'm very glad to have a 1940s and 50s bathing suit. I believe the only thing I have left to do now is to do the closure in the back of the bottoms. So I believe I'm just going to have it button up in the back with some little white buttons that I have here. Something that I have learned while I've been sewing recently and that I really was able to utilize with this project was a sort of method for felling. I haven't really seen other people doing this, but I'm sure someone's done this before, but I find it very useful. If you pin your project to like a couch, or even sometimes I like pin it to like my pants or something, then you can use both of your hands to do the felling and just kind of like pull away from what you've pinned your project to, so you still have some tension, but you can use both of your hands. So I found that really useful for just like being able to move faster, because obviously when you're able to use both hands, you have way more control and you can just do everything way more efficiently. So I highly recommend that if you are finishing something by hand. So yeah, I'm just going to start sewing on the buttons and then cutting and sewing the buttonholes, and then I will hopefully film the reveal tomorrow. So I'll see you then.
My baggage is waiting, my heart's syncopating. Now I hope there'll be no hesitation. I'm all excited, I'm so delighted, feeling like a clown, 'cause I'm Dixie bound. There ain't no mistaking the boat that...
So that is the bathing suit that I recreated from this photo. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Of course, there's always a few little things that I would change if I were to do something again, which is part of why sewing is so wonderful, is you always learn something new. If I were to do this again, I think I might have attached the necktie straps after, instead of having it be actually like connected to the rest of the top piece, just because I think that would look a little bit more like the picture. It looks a little bit more separated, but overall I really like the way it turned out. I think it fits really nicely and it looks quite close to the picture. It also happens to be very similar to the fabric of the shirt that I'm wearing right now, which I didn't even realize when I bought it. So this swimsuit was really fun to make, and I'm very excited to wear it for the rest of the summer. I think soon I might make a video on how to make a vintage swimsuit, because I didn't really show you very much detail on exactly how I did this in case you want to do it yourself, because it is slightly more complex because I was trying to make it look as similar as possible to this picture. But I think I'll just design a slightly simpler swimsuit and show you guys how to make it, and let me know if you'd be interested in that. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. Bye!